Good morning, everyone. This is Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Segal Network. We are so excited to be back after Pesach. I hope you had a great Pesach, and we are back with a whole bunch of shows coming your way. For those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Naomi Nachman, and I'm about all the food all the time. I love food. I love shopping for it, cooking it, eating it, anything food related. I'm a kosher personal chef. My business is called the Aussie Gourmet. I give cooking classes. I run cooking competitions, and I even wrote 2 cookbooks. Saying that in front of Susie is like so humbling. I love to travel, and I love hearing about your traveling and recipes. So email me, naomi@nachumsegal.com. Thank all of you who do email me. I really appreciate it. And I love hearing about everybody's trips and travels and food, and it inspires me. Hopefully I can bring some inspiration to you right here every Friday morning on Table for Two. I just had an unbelievable Pesach program. The ruchnius on this program was unbelievable. It's nothing like I've ever experienced before. The friendships that I have made, I have like literally a whole new set of WhatsApp chats going on. I never mind adding to my WhatsApp chats because I'm like chatty person. And since voice notes came on, that's even better because I don't have to type anymore. I can still stay in touch with everyone. But I had just the most incredible experience in this warm environment, hospitable environment. I just cannot say enough to the programming that they had there. A big shout out to all the people that helped me with my demos. We had so many demos. Every demo had like 40, 50 people, which was amazing. I loved it. It was just amazing. And we had a great time, and all the people that tore themselves away from bingo to come to my cooking class. I'm very touched because bingo is a very big part of this program. It's a whole new culture. I thought you had to be like 60 or 70 and older to play bingo. But we played so much bingo, and there was such a cult there of bingo. It was amazing. I loved it. It was a fabulous experience. Okay, so a big shout out. I just want to say thank you to the Gross and Schechter families, to Naomi and Mark, and to Shari and Ricky Schechter, who were the hosts of Gross and Schechter, Chef Richie, Oren, Duvsi, my Baltimore crew. I couldn't do it Pesach without you guys. And of course, Rabbi Kamensky, Leo, Gabriel Geller, Yehuda, our amazing photographer. And I already gave Bingo a shout out, but now I have to go give Bingo Joe a shout out. And Andrew from the dining room. Everyone you made Pesach incredible. And, now Pesach is over. We are steaming ahead towards Shavuot with a whole bunch of great shows, lots of dairy shows, lots of fun going on right here on the Nachum Segal Network. So we look forward to the next next part of the spring season. In the studio this morning is the formidable Susie Fishbein joining us. I'm very excited to have Susie on the show. I always joke around, I'm like, Susie Fishbein's my boss. And we'll talk about that in a minute. And then I have Seth Washoe, owner and executive chef of ETC, Steakhouse in Teaneck. So he's joining us as well. And then we're going to do a very special challah demo as it's Schlitzel Challah Week coming up. I have Naomi Elberg on the show. So what a lineup. Sit back, relax. Shabbos is late. Watch up, listen up. We have our camera on today, so we're going to just talk our way through this amazing show today. So as you can see, I'm like very hyper. It's been like 3 or 4 weeks since I've recorded last. So, hi Susie, welcome back.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Okay, how was your Pesach?
Beautiful.
Yeah, nice.
Beautiful.
You're nice and suntanned. You were somewhere warm.
Florida treated me well.
Okay, Baruch Hashem. They're great. It's great. So Susie, you've done so much. Everybody, thank God, on planet Earth knows who you are and probably owns your books. Do you know how many you've sold altogether?
Over 500,000 copies.
500,000.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
A big number.
It's a big number. It's like unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah, it's mind blowing. It really is.
Because no one can touch that anymore. It's, you are the pioneer. It's always nice to be the pioneer.
Thank you.
So you revolutionized kosher cooking and restaurants. All that came from wanting better food, right? Seth is going to...
We all kind of came together at the right time, right place, right time. It was like the audience was poised for it and just grabbed on.
Amazing, amazing. Well, we're very glad Art Scroll found you. I know everybody knows the story. You've said it many times how you and Tuvia's from Muncie,
Yes,
right?
Tuvia made the shidduch between me and Art Scroll.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, Art
He
Scroll.
was mad that I was going to be doing a cookbook for Grand Central Terminal, and he said you shouldn't be doing a cookbook for the goyim. He said you should be working for a kosher, to do a kosher cookbook again. So he got me an interview with Art Scroll,
and we've never looked back. It's amazing. I was discussing with Mrs. Eisner the first books. She's our Art Scroll editor who edited my books, most of your books.
An amazing eye to detail.
Isn't it amazing? So we're looking at some of like what goes out now and what your first book looked like small pictures, not a lot of them.
Right. Yeah.
And now it's a whole different ballgame.
You cannot do a recipe without a photo. It's just not done. It's just
right. My kids can't cook without a picture. My married kids.
It's true because everyone's so visual now because of the internet. But in the beginning, like if you had 20 pictures in a book, that was huge.
Right. And the publishers would help choose which photos it was. Now, they bring us your pictures.
Right.
Okay, nice. It's nice to see that change. Okay, Susie, we're here for a special reason besides talking about your books. You're doing a lot of traveling.
I do.
And you're doing a lot of camp stuff. And we're going to talk to Seth about camp too.
Yes.
All right, so take
as
the
far
lead.
as traveling, I'm still doing my demos once a week someplace in this country.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it really is amazing.
Have you been to every state?
Not every single one, but I would really love to close in on that. Where I have not been?
Where?
Shockingly, I have not been to Las Vegas, not been to Nevada, and I understand
You've never been to
since I was 16. I've never worked there. Of all the places where there's Jews, so shout out.
Okay, Las Vegas. Susie and I are going to come together. But Susie is available for Las Vegas.
Well, now that you're a big state gambler with bingo and stuff,
right.
Is,
To my grandmother's a champion of bingo. Okay, so Las Vegas Jews. There's a lot of you, I know.
Right. So, but in addition to the every week shows, I started doing culinary tours. So I have a culinary tour going to Florence, Italy in November, although it is sold out.
Wait, it's only May. It's only May 1st as we're recording today.
It's sold out within 2 weeks. The overflow, we're toying with the idea of doing it again in May. So if you are interested.
Next May or this May?
A year from now.
May 2020.
And now started promoting my Israel trip. I do a culinary tour of Israel in February, and that is my favorite of all the culinary tours.
It's nice to hear that.
I love it. So, but Florence is really cool because we take a classroom in the Cordon Bleu cooking school and kosher it. So it's touring all morning, which is amazing, seeing all the beauty and art and history and culture that Florence has to offer. And then you come back and you cook with me and Italian chefs in a professional kitchen, and then enjoy an incredible dinner in a beautiful environment. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's
Wow.
a very special trip. You really can't do Florence without
eating
kosher.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much Jewish history in Italy also.
And the shul in Florence is just amazing.
Yeah, it's
so
magnificent.
yeah, it's a great trip.
Okay. All right, guys. So to get more information for next May's trip,
you can email Susie Fishbein at Gmail, Susie Fishbein's fan page on Facebook, or you can follow me on Instagram.
Oh, yay. She says that. Yay.
Finally.
You know what? You've been plenty busy without the Instagram. We use it as marketing, but you already didn't need it. So It's amazing. Great.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So there's a lot. Israel in February.
Mm-hmm.
That's not that far away. That's not that far away.
Right. No, it's not too soon to start planning that because these trips sell out.
I'm already finished my whole year. I already know what I'm doing till the end of the year, and it's May 1st. How crazy is that?
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to Japan.
Wow.
Yeah, Japan and South Korea with Miriam Schreiber.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, I've never really done the whole Japan. I've done other parts of Asia, but I'm excited to see Japan. I feel like it's very elegant.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so all right, and Seth, you're also doing some tours, hotels, vacation.
I want to go on your summer tour.
I know, right?
That sounds
awesome. We're going to Montana, and we'll be in Jackson Hole in August.
Okay.
Montana in July.
Whitewater raft, right?
You can do a lot of things. Yeah, whitewater rafting, fly fishing, kayaking, horseback riding, zip lining, ATV.
Okay, so cool. we're going to talk a little bit more to Seth and fill in those blanks that, he's like, what? He's a chef at ETC. What's he doing on the tour? But we'll tie that in and just give us a minute for the segue. Okay. So here's the segue. Seth is here and I'm here and our boss, Susie, is here.
You are my friend.
Yeah.
Susie Fishbein and friends.
So
Culinary Center.
People go, what are you doing this summer? I usually start off with, I'm going on a tour. And when people go, what are your kids doing? I'm like, oh, well, Leora goes to Shoshanim and I work for Susie Fishbein. She's my boss. And I'm like, I'm so honored. I always say, like, when Susie had this idea to start this culinary institute and she called me, I'm like, I'm in, before she had to finish her sentence. So. All right, so talk to us about, especially we have new followers every week. So let's recap the whole Susie Fishbein and friend. That's us, me and Seth, friend. Tell us about the Institute and how it got started.
5 years ago, the New Jersey Y Camps came up with the idea. It was the brainchild of Len Robinson to do a culinary center for kids on the highest of levels. And when they initially called me and they're like, we want to do something with you in camp, I'm like, there's no way I'm going back to camp. I go to Europe in the summer. I teach. My husband gets to come with me. There's nothing that's getting me back to camp. And then we had our first meeting with an architect, and I saw they were really serious about doing a first-rate culinary center, and the sky was the limit. There's not a piece of equipment that I asked for. It's almost like I was testing the waters, like, are they really seriously going to build this? And sure enough, they did. They built this incredible center, and it services Camp Nesher and Camp Shoshanim. And it's as professional as you can be with kids, some of who have zero cooking experience, some who love to cook. None are professional. They could be as young as 8 years old. They go up to about 15 years old. And the idea of having the and friends component was really important to me because each personality that I bring in adds a totally different culinary viewpoint and something really exciting and cool. So in the past, we've had people like Paula Scheuer, who brought European patisserie sensibilities. We had Naomi Ross, who's just an outstanding teacher. My mainstay has been you every year, and the kids just love.
Is this my fourth year?
Coming up. It's the personality, but also the international flair, the sushi making, things that from your travels that you've brought into my classroom. And I am so excited to have Seth this year, and he's been like the funnest part because he is a chef par excellence, and what I've given him is pastry, which is a pretty funny thing to do to a chef because chefs tend to be chefs or they tend to be pastry chefs.
I agree. People always say, do you cook or bake? And I say, cook.
Right, it's one or the other. So he has really rolled with the punches, but the funniest thing is, I'm not going to give away his whole curriculum because that's not for me to give away, but I have gotten now 2 phone calls from upper staff to say, do you get to approve your and friends curriculum? I'm like, why? I mean, I do, but I'm so not worried. Why? Well, because to Seth know how professional the center is, because on his curriculum are s'mores and sour sticks. I'm like, do you know who we're dealing with? I said, they're doing s'mores because they're making their own graham crackers. They're making their own marshmallows. It will be like what you would get in like the finest of steakhouse restaurants. So you don't have to question. You don't have to worry. And now everyone's like, can we stay? Can we eavesdrop on his classes? I think we're going to need to videotape these classes.
Yeah, I think that would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
I'm a little camera shy, but
we'll get.
I see it over here, and I'm like,
we're warming you up. This is your test,
right?
Your camera test, screen test for Hollywood.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
The kids come in and they learn knife skills, they learn kitchen safety, and then they learn an entire repertoire of recipes from me and from my friend chefs, and it's an amazing experience. And I don't think there's another camp that does it, and they certainly don't do it on this level.
There are cooking classes that go on. I've been a part of that. I'm doing it for Camp Dina. I'm actually running chop competitions for them in the second half of the summer. But no one has got a classroom like this. It is literally.
Walk in, they have chef's coats. They have a set of knives. Every 2 kids has a KitchenAid, a food processor. There's not a piece of equipment that I have used to develop the over 1,000 recipes in my cookbooks that's not in that center. And we're not talking like a set. Every 2 kids, every team has their own. It's professional burners. It's a sink for every team. It's really a very professional place, and that's why people say, like, aren't you worried with knives and fire around kids? The kids come in, and as soon as they put those coats on, you don't hear a pin drop. There's no horsing around. They take it very, very seriously. I take it very seriously.
Right.
So that kind of sets the tone, and they're there to learn, and they love it.
They love it. I know my daughter, I can say as a customer, my daughter Leora Nachman absolutely loves going. She loves going, like being part of the, I think that's why our shidduch works so well. besides, that I'm already a cooking teacher, I've done cooking for many years, that Leora had this this urge to go, she cooks all the time at home.
Love it.
She knows to clean up after herself. These are things that are, okay, she knows a little bit from home, but skills that she could only learn from coming.
I had a mother message me that one of her children was sleeping with her cookbook under her pillow the first 2 weeks after camp.
That is so sweet.
Cute.
That is so sweet. It's a great center. It's a great camp.
It is such a warm, both of them. I have to say, both Nesher and Shoshanim. I sleep in Shoshanim, so I get to spend Shabbos there, so I really get to see what it's about. These camps are such warm environments. It's such I tell people it's like it's nice kid camps.
Right.
Just midos and just like kind-hearted kids. And at least in Shoshanim, from what I see, it's so not woman-powered, but just so...
Yes.
When
women-driven.
It is women-driven because Esther Katz is such an incredible role model for that.
She's a Talmidah Chachama.
She truly is. I was blown away on the 9 days when a siyum had to be made. I was waiting for the rabbi to come out the back, and no, it was Esther who made the siyum.
Yeah.
Like, of course she did.
Of course she did.
She's a learner, and she's such an amazing role model for these girls.
Yeah.
And it is so, it is about woman power, and it just... The girls run everything. The girls basically run the davening. They run the activities. It's really a very special place. But yet they do things on the highest of level, like, their sports counselors are first rate. This cooking center is first rate.
The horseback riding.
Yeah.
There's extra activities you can sign up for, like horseback riding, or
their drama department is incredible, and at Nesher as well. Like they really put focus onto those things to do things at a professional level. Have you seen any of the things that the jewelry lady does?
Know, yeah.
Like,
I'm like,
where'd you buy that?
I would buy
we
that.
made that.
Yeah.
It's
stuff
really
that we would buy. I was like
Yeah.
I told my daughter to make sure she signs up for that because there's some pieces that
awesome.
I would like that they make. No kidding,
place
and I
an
love
order.
jewelry. Yeah, it's an amazing camp. I'm very happy to be part of it, to send my daughter there, and then also to...
And this center is no different, and our staff in the center is amazing. We've had, Leah Amar and Naomi Davidson, and Alana Greenberg. They're adults. They're not kids working in the center. We take it very seriously.
And we've become like good friends all year. Like we're in touch all year, which is really nice. I would never go to Florida without calling Leah.
It's great.
So it's really a great center, and you have a great team. Let's say hello to Seth. Hi, Seth.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Is this your first time on camera?
No.
Okay, you've done this before.
Not exactly.
So. Okay, because you said you were shy, so
I am camera shy. It doesn't mean. Yeah.
But you've done it before. Okay, you're going to be fine. Okay, let's talk a little bit, Seth, about your background. How did you get into cooking? Did you cook as a little boy?
So definitely cooked when I was little. Funny enough, my first actual cooking job was in Camp Nesher.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and they had like
your
a
wife there, right?
Well, so I followed her to camp, and I was the camp driver, and it wasn't exactly working out for me. So the person who was, I forgot her name now, but she was doing the cooking chug that they had now, one of those.
That's what I call it,
things.
a cooking chug.
Yeah.
But
That's what it always was.
But you're not a
This
chug.
is no chug.
This is no chug.
No, we
This
had
is
like
university.
a 6-burner stove in a cage, and that was it.
At least you had a stove.
Yeah. So she didn't want to do it anymore, and I said to Jeff, I was like, I'll do it. And he laughed at me, and I was like, no, I'm serious. And that's kind of how really it was my first official cooking job. Huh. Yeah. Funny enough, right?
That's funny.
Jeff can spot talent.
Yeah. Maybe.
That's funny because he's still there.
Of course he is, and he was instrumental in getting this center and getting me to come to the center. Jeff is an old friend of mine, and I would totally trust him. And when he said, Susie, come to this meeting, listen, I am telling you, it's not what you think it is. It was really on my friendship that I said, all right, I'll give it a listen. And they delivered. He delivered exactly what they promised.
So yeah.
So that was my first cooking job, and then did a lot of things in between getting into a real kitchen, and then started in Fumio, and then we opened DTC.
What's Fumio?
Fumio was a restaurant, yes, sushi steakhouse.
By you.
One thing we had.
Livingston, yeah.
Me at that time.
Yep. So we were there.
Did you go to cooking school?
Yeah, I went to the Institute of Culinary Education, ICE, in the city.
Okay.
It's now downtown, over here.
Okay.
Not terribly far. I went there, and then, worked.
How many years is cooking school?
It was 7 months. It was in a bridge. I started a little later. I
Okay.
had kids and everything, so I couldn't go to
so
four-year
you had a job in
program.
between. You went to college in between.
I did a million different things.
Okay, like me. I
Yeah,
also did.
mortgages, real
I
estate.
feel like you're always learning. Like I feel like your style has changed and morphed in so many different ways. And, you know, I guess keeping up with the times of what your profession is, but I've seen the change in your style.
Definitely. I mean, as you get older, you figure out what your voice is, you know, and what you want to say. Still kind of trying to figure it out, but we're getting there. Now we're just changing our menus so dramatically between seasons. We're doing different countries. So we did China last season, and now we're in Mexico. So, I mean, the cooking styles and the techniques and everything and the flavors are just, you know, those are literally worlds apart. So that helps also, but we're doing it in our style, and I have a great team. I really do. I rely so heavily on them to help get it done and come up with the ideas. It's really not a one-man kind of operation, you know?
It's one of the best parts about traveling is seeing how people cook and how they treat food in other countries.
I love that.
I think Italians would pass out if they ever walked into a Costco. There's no such thing. An Italian chef goes to a market and a farm, like they just every single day. There's no supermarkets. There's no Costco's. There's no, you know, there's nothing like that. And that heavily influences how you cook, what you cook with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yep. I always say, I want to see what they eat and how they eat.
Right.
You know, that I write that in the intro of my book, that of Perfect Flavors, which is inspired by a lot of my traveling. And you've also done a lot of traveling, but I want to see like how they eat on the street of Bangkok.
Exactly.
Like they have a whole different food culture. We have a hot dog stand. They have like real barbecues in their cafeterias and their takeouts. They don't have hamburgers and hot dogs. In Italy, they have lasagna and pasta and salads.
Well, it depends on what part of Italy. The food cultures are completely different based on the location of where you are in Italy.
Really?
But, you know, when you look at the food trucks, to me, that tells you how the local people eat. And in Florence, the most popular food truck, day and night, down the block, was for tripe.
Wow.
What's tripe?
It's like stomach
The
lining.
lining of
Nothing
the
will ever
yeah.
know from.
We
but
can't do that.
I was so disappointed to finally find out what was on that food truck, that people were literally lined up around the corner. But
Right.
you can't.
We don't have
Probably pretty
kosher
good.
tripe. There's no kosher tripe.
Well, it's probably good and
Not that I've
cheap
seen.
and done well.
Yeah.
That's the combination for a food truck.
Okay, there you go. But Susie, I was at the market this morning and I was collecting my radishes.
Goodies.
So I'm presenting you with a purple radish and a watermelon
So
radish.
gorgeous. Thank you. And you slice these on a mandolin, and they are just stunning.
Right.
Thank you.
So
Thank
it's
you.
towards the end of the season of watermelon radishes,
Beautiful.
and the purple radishes are still going. But I
Gorgeous.
collect radishes, so I thought on my way to the studio, I went by Union Square, and I'm like, I'm going to get Susie some radishes.
Thank
So.
you. Thank you.
Okay, Seth.
Yeah. Where were we?
Okay, camp. No, before
yeah.
camp. In between camp.
Are you excited about camp?
I'm
Are
very
you excited about
excited.
working with kids again, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I have
you taught
several stops before I get there, so my mind works in a
Right, before you get to camp. Now
Yeah.
we're doing that big segue in.
Yeah.
So he's running a restaurant. He's the friend from Susie Fishbein and Friends Culinary Institute, but he's also running a tour, or well, it's
I'm
not
doing
really a tour.
the food part.
He's doing the food part at a hotel for a resort for this summer.
Neither word really describes what this place is.
Okay, great. That's why I have you here.
Yeah.
Because I've never
So-
been to that part of the country.
So when you land in Kalispell, Montana, all you see is mountains. Ever been to Jackson Hole? Similar kind of airport, just mountains surrounding. It's gorgeous.
have you been, Susie?
no.
You never been to Montana?
No.
You should
Not yet.
absolutely go.
That and Las Vegas. We're going.
That'll be the next Friends tour.
Yes.
So, and then it's literally on this Route 40, which goes through this part of Montana, northwest Montana. And I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. The place where we stay at is called North 40 Resorts. My friend Yitzi Kesak had this idea. He loves national parks. He loves Glacier National Park. It's definitely one of the nicest places I've ever been. There's so many different, just like systems within the park. The bottom part is like a rainforest, and then you get up and you're in the snow. And the elevation changes dramatically. It's very cool. And gorgeous, really stunning. But anyway, so he does the excursion part of the thing. This is his brainchild, and he called me. He's like, we've known each other since we're, infants. Our parents were best friends growing up.
That's so
and-
cute.
Yeah, it's great. And he's like, I want you to do the food. So, I mean, it took a lot of planning and everything, figuring out how to get things from New Jersey to Montana, logistically, and
Put them in Emmy
it's
Nachman
everything.
suitcases.
No. So they
I'll
have
bring them.
in Kalispell, they have every store you can possibly need: Costco, Home Depot, Target, Walmart, the works. I mean, there's not a ton of kosher stuff. There is no kosher bread, so everything comes from New Jersey.
Or you bake it fresh.
So we had a 6-burner stove and 1 oven. So that became challenging. We cooked
How many
dinner
people go on the
service.
tour?
This one was year was, I think, 40-ish on both. Yeah.
So it's like
Awesome.
boutique. It's boutique.
Very small. Yep.
That's awesome.
Because some of these big programs, you wait online for your food, they're elevated.
No.
This is
So,
boutique.
yeah. So it's every family gets a cabin, basically.
Is there one for
But
the Anne
they're
friends?
they're really nicely apportioned cabin. It's probably one of the most comfortable beds I've ever slept in, honestly. It could have had a lot to...
I'm writing down the
I've
dates.
never worked so hard in my
piece of
life.
cardboard.
Seth, when is this tour from?
So
I'm writing
this
it
year,
down.
July, I'm leaving. I think July 8th through the 18th. There's 2 weeks. You can go from Sunday to Thursday, stay for Shabbos, or come for Shabbos and then stay through the following Thursday, or just the Sunday, Thursday blocks. We're
8th to the
almost really
18th.
actually sold out for Shabbos this year.
Oh, cool.
And then we're doing, I forget exactly, 18th through 22nd, I want to say, in August. That one's in Jackson Hole. And that's Grand Tetons, and I think we're doing a day in Yellowstone.
That is so cool.
It is really cool. Yellowstone is also fascinating.
I've wanted
but
to
most
do
people
that.
have been to Yellowstone.
I have not.
Okay, fine.
beautiful.
But I'm saying most people, when you talk about
Where is
national parks,
Yellowstone? Pardon my
it's
ignorance. I am
in,
Australian.
part of it is Wyoming, part of it's Montana, I believe. Yep.
Okay, cool.
So, I mean, that has all these thermal features. I mean, excuse my ignorance. I'm not really, an expert on these things, but
He's
they
cooking
just
while they're
have.
touring.
Yeah, they have these. Yellowstone sits on a super volcano, I believe they call it. I think it's bigger than Rhode Island in its, I guess, whatever the thank you size would be the right word,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And it's scary if it goes off. But it hasn't in a million years or so. So, I don't know. But anyway,
What are the odds, right?
but because the water and everything underground is so superheated, it shoots up steam into the air. And they have all these different geysers. So there's one called Old Faithful, which goes off
Right.
they have a schedule when you can go see it. And it's actually superheated water just shoots through the ground, straight up into the air like 40 feet. And everybody goes to watch. But they have, even on the side of the road, as you're driving through the park, you hear this like rumbling, hissing kind of noise. And you just pull over and you see this just little pool of water with these colors because of the gas and the sun and all that. And it's just bubbling, like rapidly boiling. And steam just shooting out of the ground. It's
Could you cook
fascinating.
over that?
I don't know if you would want to, but
Yeah,
anything
I was
actually,
thinking that
it's
too.
really hot.
But I was thinking
Definitely
boiling
poached
an egg.
eggs. Yeah, definitely poached eggs, real quick.
That's so cool.
Fascinating, yeah. So we do a breakfast over there, and then lunch is to go because you're out in the park doing stuff, and then dinner is like a 5-course dinner every night.
Wow.
Yeah, you get some choices,
I remember
chicken,
seeing
fish.
some pictures from last year.
Yeah.
Really high quality stuff.
We tried. Yeah, I mean, with those kind of numbers, you can really just
It's great.
do it the way we like to do it. The funny part was we actually had to cook on barbecue grills. Like our saute station was done on a barbecue. It was great. We had a lot of fun. We cooked outside. It didn't
You
get
gotta
dark till
get creative.
10:30.
And I bet it gets
Yeah.
easier every year. Do something once, you learn a lot.
August was so much easier than July,
Right,
and this year
right.
we're actually gonna get, I think, like a 53 or 43-foot trailer. That's like a full-on kitchen. So we
Okay,
can
good for you.
do everything because we didn't have a dishwasher. Everything was done by hand.
No.
And that's
It's
5
not
people,
efficient.
40
It's
people,
not efficient.
5 courses, a lot of plates.
Yeah.
A lot of plates.
Wow. We can
Yeah.
only imagine because
We have dishwashers in our center. We have dishwashers
Yes,
in our
we
center.
have.
A
We-
full staff.
Awesome.
yeah, it's unreal. So as you can see, this Friends team led by Susie is quite an experienced group, if I can say so.
With each person bringing such a unique perspective.
And we're really looking forward to. I wish we were there at the same time because I would love to
Yes,
sit
it would
on
be
your
same.
class.
Same.
But my daughter's going to be at Susie's first half. She's going to be away for the second month. But it's just an incredible. If you are interested in going to Camp Nesha, Camp Shoshanim, there are a few spots available. Do not miss out on this incredible opportunity to be under Susie's leadership. In her center is state of the art. You can follow Nesha and Shoshanim on Instagram. You can follow Seth.
At ETC or Seth at Warshaw.
Yeah,
On Instagram.
yeah, he has
either one.
He has both.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to see all the fun stuff's going on because, if you're not ready for this year, we're planning already for next year, as you can see with Susie.
Absolutely.
Okay, amazing. Thank you guys so much for coming
Thanks for
in.
having
This
us.
was great. I'm going to ask our second guest to join us, but our first guest can stick around.
Taking my radish.
She's taking her radish. I know Susie's got a very
gotta go.
busy day.
Make food.
Food. Seth, I want to come by. I'm going to come by for dinner soon.
We'd love to have you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm excited. We'll talk. I want to come to Montana and all these great places.
Love to have you.
All right. Thank you. My pleasure. We'll talk soon. All right, Susie, we have to talk curriculum also. We've got to plan the curriculum. Susie has a lot going on. Just a big shout out. I did not take the moment at the beginning of the show to give Benjamin Siegel a big mazal tov on his engagement. We are super excited, so that's so nice. I remember Benjamin, when he was a little kid, we davened at the same shul as Nachum and Stacy right here on the Lower East Side, and now he's an engaged man, so it's growing up fast. Everyone's growing up fast. Okay. All right. I want to give a little shout out to Nodui Karane. I was there for dinner a couple of weeks ago for the Fleischiks magazine. Had a dinner at Nodui Karane. The food there was amazing. I loved the meal. They had this, two things that stood out. They had this like tomato bisque shooters. It was outstanding. And then they had this giant meatball, and it looked like a round meatloaf with like sauce on top, and when you cut into it, the spaghetti was inside, so it was like a reverse spaghetti and meatballs. It was absolutely brilliant. I was very impressed. Okay, another we're doing all our things that we normally do at the beginning, all our promos and shout outs we do in the beginning, but Susie had to go to a meeting, so I said I'll do that in between our two guests. Okay, JWE, the Jewish Women's Entrepreneur Conference, is coming up in a couple of weeks. Make sure you follow them, or you can get more information about tickets on thejwe.com. If you're a woman that already has a business and wants to grow your business and learn all the different marketing and networking tips, this is where you should be going. It's an incredible evening, learning from the best of the best. Woman-driven, woman-powered. It's amazing. And then, of course, let's talk about my trip to Japan and South Korea that I'll be doing with Miriam Schreiber on Legacy Kosher Tours. It's going to be this summer, August 13th to the 22nd. I'm going to be giving cooking tours. And there's going to be Rabbi Lerefeld and Rabbi Becher are going to be the in-house Scotland residents. Every day they speak to us. They make us swoon with all their knowledge of Torah and history of the area. I do cooking demos at night. Miriam picks the best hotels. Not one other program that does overseas tours does the hotel and food like Miriam does. It's unreal. You walk into the hotels and your mind is blown every time. She has that wow factor. Miriam's about the wow factor, and this is the program to come on. So if you're interested, you can email Miriam. I posted it also on my Instagram. You can reach out to me as well, and I'll connect you to Miriam for a blowout tour. And anyone who signs up in the next couple of weeks between now and Shavuot, because of my radio show, you're going to get a free cookbook. I'm going to give you perfect flavor. So all you have to do is, this is for new guests, for new people coming. So make sure that you give Miriam a call. All right. So in the house, I'm so lucky that the timing was finally right. She was on the kosher, it wasn't Kosher Fest. It was the, Jewish Media Conference when I did my radio show from there. I got her in, but now I had her in the studio live with me this Friday morning, pre-recorded a day or two ago, because we couldn't all get here on Friday, is the one another, Naomi Tigges. It's Naomi _
TGIS.
Which stands for Thank God It's Shabbos.
Yes, it does.
But her real last name is Elberg. So there you go. Welcome.
Thank you. Where am I looking?
Okay. So here's a camera here.
First
Here's a
timer
microphone here.
Okay.
Wasn't that so fun having Susie? Isn't she like?
First of all, I look up to Susie. When I got married, Kosher Palette had just come out, and it was just
Game
that is
changer.
what you have to have. So every one of my Shabbos meals for like the first, maybe until like the next book came out, was the strawberry mescalin salad, this pecan noodle ring, which I made for Pesach with Pesach noodles, the London broil, with the rosemary and
that's
the garlic.
famous. Yeah.
Like, just, I can go through, and my first copy is literally like, there is food all over it, and it's like falling apart. But I have another copy.
Oh, really?
So,
you know that the kosher palette you can't even buy anymore. It's on like eBay or
amazing
for like thousands of dollars.
I've looked up to her forever.
Yeah, she started this whole cookbook trend.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, I love I can keep going about But,
Yeah, she's a wonderful person. I love working for her. So Susie and Seth, they both Seth had to go cook, and Susie has a million things going on. So we're lucky to have her in the studio. But I'm so lucky to have you today.
we pulled it together. We got it.
We literally pulled this together.
Okay,
So I have Naomi is, for those of you who are not on Instagram, because a lot of our listeners do not have Instagram.
Oh, okay, well.
Naomi is a challah baker extraordinaire, dough expert. She's a dough whisperer. She literally flies all over the country teaching different dough techniques from babka to challah, right?
I can't say it's
You take it from there.
I can't say it's textbook. I can't say it's, necessarily what they teach you or what the rules are. But when it comes to dough, I always say that a recipe is a guideline. And people are always afraid of challah or whatever they are. Whatever the recipe is, I think challah is supposed to take an entire day. Rise it for 3 hours, punch it down, rise it for another 3 hours, breathe. It takes maybe at most 2 hours, and you don't even have to be home for most of it. You can slow rise. There are so many different ways to do it. It's a lot of trial and error. I'm very big on error, and I'm happy to share that because, we're human. We make mistakes, and you learn from your mistakes. Like I have a challah recipe. It's called Accidental Challah because I translated what was a bagel recipe into challah, and it doesn't use any oil. And my friend was laughing at me. She's like, that was a bagel recipe that you made into a challah, but it worked out beautifully. So anyways, everything is just self-taught. And now I just actually learned this new hack. Thanks, Naomi. And Shifra, by the way. Shifra Klein also made like a schlissel challah.
By the way, they're coming on the show next week.
Are they really?
I'm just saying, yes.
And,
speaking of the devils.
and she made schlissel challah, and she did it with meat, obviously, fleischig. And she said she bought the dough at the bakery. So we were talking about how we were going to make this happen. And so Naomi's like, I bought Culinary frozen challah dough. And on the box, it says 6 hours to defrost.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put it in the microwave.
Yeah, so before I left the house, okay, I couldn't get my act together to make, I actually had everything upstairs, eggs, flour, and I especially went with my granddaughter for a walk yesterday. I was babysitting Michal, and we walked to Gomeglat to buy the flour.
What are you going to do, schlep 5 pounds of challah dough to the...
Well, I was going to take half of it, but the problem was I got it all ready down, packed it in the Pesach kitchen, I, found my dough machine, my magic mill, and she knows better than me right now, and I schlepped everything back and I realized I've got no yeast. So at midnight when I went to put up the dough, I'm like, there's no yeast. I said, I'm waking up an hour earlier. I'm going to run to Gomeglat.
This is perfect. So what we did was we actually just microwaved the dough and we put it at 50% power because you can alter the power on your microwave. If you didn't know that, it can be done. And 50% power just till it's defrosted. So we rolled it out to the best of our ability. But
you did amazing, Naomi.
Yeah, this is great. So thank you.
Do we have the eggs and all that?
So we're not going to use eggs, but I'm going to show you a bunch of stuff. And by the way, that's a magical cupboard because I found really great stuff in there. Do you know what you have in there?
It leads to Narnia.
Okay, so I travel always with a pastry mat.
Of course you do.
But that is why
because you're Naomi Elberg.
Yes,
that's right.
I have a pastry mat. I have a egg brush, but we don't have eggs. But it doesn't matter. Anyways, this is
some photos.
Oh, sure. This is a pastry mat, and these are gloves, which you happen to have. I work with gloves, and I always say this at all my demos. It's not just for sanitary reasons. It's because it creates a barrier between your natural body heat and the dough. So a lot of times people are really naturally, they're hot-blooded, and I've done a lot of demos where people are like, oh, my God, my dough is so sticky, and someone else is like, my dough is perfect. Why? Because if you're naturally, a hot person, and you're touching that dough, what happens? Your dough is going to become sticky, so this creates just a natural barrier. Usually I like to have an oil mister or a PAM or whatever, but I don't have it.
Not Scotch tape.
Not Scotch tape. But if you want your strands to be super smooth, I always recommend spraying your hands with either nonstick cooking spray or if you have an oil mister, and that way you'll get rid of these grooves. What happens? These grooves are just caused from the dough being dry. Keep in mind, it's just been uncovered. I don't have anything really to cover it with. So if you notice a lot of cracking in your dough, it's usually because it's dry. So just, if you want to put a little bit of oil and just, Anyways, we are going to do schlissel challah. And
can I ask you?
Okay.
Do you know, I hope you know the answer. Maybe
I don't know.
Where did the whole schlissel challah thing come from?
Schlissel, not schlissel.
I said schlissel.
No, you said schlissel.
Did I say schlissel?
Guess we'll find out when we're
That show on TV.
I never saw it.
Oh, it's good. It's very good.
subtitles.
I'm up to season 2. Okay. All right. Schlissel challah. I can't believe I said schlissel. Oh my God.
So I posted on Instagram, like there's a lot of backstory, a lot of like reasons behind like the minhag or the reasoning. And the truth is there's so many, you really just, I always tell people, you got to look it up yourself. There's one of the way I like to look at it is that, you know, during Pesach, they say that gates of Shemayim are open.
Yeah.
And so after Pesach, you know, we make the ki challah just to like, you know, to pray that like it should always be open. It also says in Shir HaShirim, there's a whole bunch of different like reasonings behind it. Again, like everyone is free to like, you know, look it up, or some people don't even take a meaning. There's no meaning behind it. They just do it because like, you know, but
I think, you know, when people start saying this about schlissel challah, it's not really a minhag. I'm like, you know what? You're getting women around the country to make 5 pounds of challah making a bracha. Women around the world.
right.
You know, so, you know,
You just put a key
what
in
could
it.
be
like,
bad?
There's
So what I do is I do my regular challah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do a few different ways. I do a regular challah. I take my house key. I wrap it in foil. By the way, I have a combination lock, but it was our house
It was
key.
once a house key.
It's actually the key to my back door. I wrap it up in foil, and when I make my braids, I kind of wedge it in there.
Right.
And then I also do, like, I try to make a key, but I'm not so artistic like you.
So I have to say, like, thank God that it came out really well. I just did that article. And
Article for Mishpacha magazine.
Comes out today. I'm very excited.
It's we're here on Wednesday, but you can buy it today, Friday morning, in your local kosher supermarket or Makolet, or subscribe or
Going to
whatever.
hunt for it later.
I was about to say swipe up to subscribe.
So anyways, there were a lot of tricks that I put into it, and then they're all in the article. I mean, I'll share a few with you. So when it comes to challah dough, eggs are a natural leavener. So a lot of times you want the shape to sort of, you want to maintain the shape so you can reduce the number of eggs that are in your challah. I actually also used an all-purpose flour when making the challah dough because bread flour will rise. And anyways, I sort of want to keep it, you know, I want that shape. So there's one brand of flour that I actually, you know, I like to use for it because it's a triple sifted all-purpose. You can sift your all-purpose. Anyways, the point is, or you can use a blend of bread flour and all-purpose flour, and you know, and that way, like when you braid it and you bake it, it'll sort of keep that shape. It won't over, like, you know, when you bake challah, it's just sort of sometimes the whole shape sort of changes. I also like to chill my dough before I use it. So
Really?
yeah, we discussed this, right? Did we?
I don't know. I don't remember about chilling dough.
So when it comes to Rosh Hashanah and like I have a ton of orders to do, or when the weather's really hot in the summer, because if you make challah dough and it rises really quickly and like it's hard to work with, I make the dough in advance and then I portion it out and I keep it in the fridge overnight. It's a slow rise. It actually helps develop the flavor and it really relaxes your dough. Like if you actually see this dough, because it was frozen, and look how nicely the strands are staying. A lot of times they'll snap back.
I did good with that. Okay,
You did very good with that. A lot of times they'll snap back, and that is because your gluten isn't relaxed. And yes, your gluten can be stressed out. If you've ever like not been happy with the shape and took it apart and started braiding it and like, or you know, rolled it out and it snaps back, it's because you're handling it so much.
Right. I always tell people, let it re-rise.
Just let it
When
rest.
I do challah baking with kids in camp, they're like, oh, it's my shape's not good. And then they smash it up and want to start again. I'm like, leave it for 10 minutes.
That's why
Roll it
the
up into a bowl and leave it for 10 minutes.
That's why, like, if your kids make challah in school or whatever, and they come home and it's like a rock hard ball, it's because they're playing it with like Play-Doh. So you really want to handle it the least amount of time, least amount of possible.
Least amount of time as possible.
Yeah.
How's
my
that?
coffee never really kicked in today.
I haven't had mine yet.
So, anyways, we use 3 boxes of challah dough here.
Yeah.
And again, sizing is just really, however you want to portion
This
it
is the
out.
brand we used, by the way, today.
I've never used it before.
Me either. I got it from Gourmet Glatt, and it was pre-braided, and I thought that was cool.
So I took it apart because I also travel with a
Kinneret.
bench scraper.
Of course you do. What else is in that tiny? She's like Mary Poppins of bread.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Okay, so anyways, I wanted to do this as simple as possible. There's no crazy braiding. It's literally just 3 braid challahs put together. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to do 3 strand challahs, and we're going to make them into a key.
Okay, so I want people who are not watching us right now, because, it is a radio show,
right,
to turn on to the YouTube channel. Let's get this going up and running.
So I have 3 rows.
Yeah.
And each row has 3 strands of challah dough. How's that? I'm going to try to make it as visual as possible.
You're going to want to watch this, everyone. You're going to want to watch this.
Okay. And then,
Okay, hold on. We're
I've
gonna.
never braided sitting down before.
Okay, you can actually stand up.
Okay.
Okay, so here in the studio we have Naomi Elberg. While we are doing our radio show, I'm doing a little recording here of what she is doing. And to tune in more, you will hear. You have to tune in to NachumSiegel.com Friday morning. You'll hear Susie Fishbein, you'll hear Seth Warshaw, and you'll see and watch Naomi Elberg make a challah, schlitzel challah, right in front of us on the YouTube channel. Okay. And we'll post more.
As long and thin as possible. If you want to be really particular, you can definitely weigh out your strands.
Do you do that?
I do. Okay. Anyways, but this is pretty arbitrary, so we're gonna just like hope for the best. So what I do is I'm gonna start braiding it from the middle. Oh, hello. Oh.
Hold on. I'm trying to say I can't braid.
I'm just doing a regular 3-braid challah.
You braid so nicely.
I do. Thank you. All right. And then I sort of work my
You know
way.
what's so cool about Naomi? She knows that she braids well, and she still sounds so classy when she does it.
It doesn't always come out so well. Okay. So, here's one.
Okay.
See that now? Look, it's. And then this is the second. Do you want to braid this one?
Sure. I'm gonna braid. Oh, that's so funny. You know, when I do shows on TV and stuff, when I've done my. Do you guys see that I was on CBS News?
Wait, maybe I did.
Yeah, you knew that, Naomi. I had the hostess help me, but I might not do it so good. Well, you know.
I was just telling someone this morning, like, I always correct people when they say good and well. My mother's an English
No.
teacher.
Right.
So, like,
No, I knew I was saying it's slang.
Okay.
It's when you don't know you're saying it's slang. It's the problem.
Okay. So this
Okay.
is how we're gonna do it.
Is that okay? That
Yeah,
what I
it's
did?
perfect. It's perfect.
Okay,
Keep in mind, like we're gonna do it like on the fly right here, and I want you to be able to see it as well as possible. So we're gonna do it this way.
Okay,
I
guys.
want them to be just pretty similar. So we're gonna line these two up like this, and I'm actually gonna use my bench scraper. I'm gonna grab that soon, or it's gonna get magically handed to me.
Okay.
And we're gonna put these two side by side.
So we're doing 2 long ropes side by side.
Okay.
We're getting this, Aussie K? This
We
is
good?
amazing.
All right, and then what we're going to do is we're sort of going to make it look like a hug right over here, okay? And we're going to open it up like arms. And we're just going to fold this down a little bit like this.
Okay, you may be taking this home because you're the
You
only
look
one here. that
very
has a
impressed
car.
by this. And then
He's the
another
only one
looks
with
like
a
a
cup.
heart. How's that? How does that look?
That looks good.
Okay.
I'm taking photos.
Then we're going to take this third braid that we did, and we're going to make it into sort of like, you could sort of really just do it however you want. You can do it this way if you want to, be as simple as possible, or you can take it and go this way. And then if you happen to have extra dough, what you can do is you can sort of fill in this spot over there. But the point is, here, how's this?
It needs the things,
Wait,
right?
No, because, well, you could. So then if we had extra dough, I would make another 3-braid challah.
And make teeth.
And then take that 3-braid challah and cut it in half. And then you'd have 2 little tiny 3-braid challahs right there. Should I show you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what you mean.
Hey, look. So we have, did we
That's
get how
right.
we did this?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So we had our really long strands
So
like
Naomi
this.
has made 2 long braids, and then she kind of took the top half of it and formed it into a heart.
Yeah, exactly. Like this.
To kind of look like the top of a key.
And keep in-
I'm describing to all our listeners if you're not watching, but you will watch later because you're not going to want to miss.
And as it rises, also keep this in mind. It's a cold room right now, and it really hasn't had much time to relax. As it rises, it's going to just sort of
Expand.
go together. And then once you egg it and everything, it'll be, So anyways, I'll just show you this one more time. So we have our heart, and then we have this third braid. And what we can do with that third braid is we can either put it in there like this and throw in some extra challah dough, or we can just twist it around like this.
Okay, she's giving us the options, like a crown on top
Yeah, you could
of
do
it.
whatever you want. Yeah. And then if you want to do the teeth, for example. it's
Like the teeth of a key. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I call it the teeth. This
teeth.
is the body, this is the crown, and I call this the teeth.
Oh, who knew keys had so many parts?
So here's a bench scraper, right?
Okay.
So here
And you can buy bench scrapers at Kitchen Caboodles.
This is
or-
actually from Kitchen Caboodles.
Oh, there you go.
That was yesterday. I'm like, Suzanne, I don't have a bench scraper. So anyways, I'm going to, what am I going to do?
She'll be on the show in a couple of weeks from Kitchen
Really?
Caboodles. We're going to talk
Here.
about barbecue equipment and. Okay,
All right.
she's making another crown.
No, I'm just going to like put this here.
Barbecue equipment and Shavuos serving pieces.
All right, so here's our 3 braid over here, right? And we'll just take that. And you can even make it smaller. And I would make it
Oh,
smaller.
I see. This has got the teeth.
This has got
Yeah,
the teeth.
yeah, I see that. They become the teeth.
This is pretty good for challah on the fly.
Challah in the studio. This is amazing.
Here, if you want to make it even smaller, you just cut it some more. How cute. And then if you want this to look more like the edge of a key, take your bench scraper. And you cut it like that. You know, it could be more angled. 1, 2. And then as it bakes, but then I'll show you one more really, really cool trick.
One more cool way coming up your way. She's doing all different kinds of braiding techniques right here in the studio. We're actually standing up. We're not in our seats.
Okay, then what we can do actually is we're going to dissect this.
ZK's excited. He's going to take this home.
We're
not taking this on the train.
Wearing gloves, you're good. We can dissect this, and this can be our body, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to cut this. We're going to
Okay.
turn this into the crown.
So we have like a stick and a circle.
This is all the 3. This is just 3 braid challah strands, like challahs, 3 strand challahs. See, remember that one of the 3 braids? We can make it into a circle, right?
Yeah.
And then we can take this piece
See, mine kind of looks like that when I do it.
and put it into a. You can make it even more. Having fun now. It's like Play-Doh.
Right? It's like playing with Play-Doh.
Yeah, but it tends to.
Can I just add, do a lot of cooking with kids. I love doing it, and a lot of
We were
dough.
preschool teachers. Remember?
No, Susie also was a teacher.
Was she really?
Yeah. If you after teaching you retire and you go into the food world, it's like a thing.
All right. So there's the body, the crown, and then
That's how mine look. When I
Yeah.
make mine, and then I make the little teeth.
yeah,
things here.
exactly. And then you take your 3
Yeah,
braid
just like-
challah, and then
Chop
here
it
we
up
go.
and make it pretty.
We got 1, we got 2,
So
and then I'll show you the
nice.
really, really awesome
Yeah, let's-
seating hat.
Yeah, let's talk about seating.
Okay, so normally you would let this rest, cover it on your sheet pan, let it rest, and then I egg it
Where's my-
3
where's
times.
this-
It's over there.
Okay, good.
I egg it 3 times. I egg it the first time I egg it is after I braided it. That's 1. Second time I egg it is halfway through the braiding, so maybe like in 20 minutes, depending on how warm the room is. And the third time I egg it is right before it goes in the oven. You want it to be like darker, you use more yolks. You can usually what I do is like I'll do 2 yolks per egg. So 1 egg, 2 yolks if I want it nice and dark.
Okay, wait. Need that. This is stuck. Here we go. All right, wait. I don't know how many times you braid it. You egg it once when you first braid it.
Once when I'm done, it goes on the sheet pan, and I egg it the first time, and then I cover it, and then I come back to it about 15-20 minutes later, just depending on how warm the room that you're in
You
is.
re-egg it.
Yeah, because
Is it
what
schnitzel
happens,
challah or
Yes.
every time you make challah?
in general, because this is what happens. Here's your challah dough,
It's
right?
so much work, and I make challah every
Mind-blowing.
week.
Okay, this is what happens. Your dough is going to rise. Okay,
Yeah.
so any part that you egg the first time, when it rises,
Yeah, the
you're
cracks in
missing
between.
all these parts.
Yeah, I know.
And you have to give it that adequate rise time to prevent like the dreaded like stretch mark effect. Because you know when you see like those tears
Yeah,
in the challah,
yeah.
it's a huge difference between like if your room is if you don't give it enough time to rise and you put it in the oven, there's like this huge discrepancy in temperature.
So it goes. It kind
and then
of
it
like,
goes like poof.
So that's why you get those
Stretch marks on the challah
marks.
dough.
I'm like better on the
Or
challah dough.
tearing. Okay, so this is just an example.
Okay, so she's
have
pouring.
magical shot
She's
glasses in
pouring.
there.
She's pouring sesame seeds
You could use
into
anything.
a shot glass, which someone's been drinking in the studio. ZK,
We have a lot of fun stuff in there.
I'm telling
Okay,
you.
so-
Miriam Wallach is a lot of fun. She's our general manager. I'm sure there's a lot more fun things in there if we keep digging.
So we're gonna pretend this is egg, but this is still gonna work nonetheless.
Because you know why we don't have eggs? Because I was too scared to carry eggs on the
What
train.
about at the farmer's market?
I know. But they're like $4 an egg.
Yeah, pretty much.
I didn't want to put eggs in my knapsack.
It was such a cute knapsack
Right.
too.
That's been all over the world, that knapsack.
Okay, magic seating application tool.
Wait. Glove on or glove off?
Off. I keep it off.
Glove off. for
Wash
this
your
part.
hands.
Wash your hands. Okay.
Okay.
And then dry them.
Dry them.
And
Actually,
then
you don't
and then,
need to dry
and
them.
then I was going to say, and then wet them
You
again.
don't need to dry
Yeah.
them. You're gonna take your magical seed application tool. You're gonna dip it into the water, right?
Dip your finger in the water.
into the seed.
See? Teach us.
You could do this with anything, by the way. And I'm gonna tell you one more trick, and then there should be egg on, but usually if there's egg, it sticks. Hold on.
Okay, but
Let's pretend. Hold on. Let's try this.
she's putting water now in the challah. Let's see.
Do we edit this at all?
No.
Should think about that.
No. If you fluff,
There.
your stuff
Look. See, I learned on the job. It's all about being, human
and flexible
and making mistakes and learning from
and
your
learning
mistakes.
from them. Exactly.
So now I know. Look, if, next time I do a radio show and I have to show how to how to seed this.
Right.
Do you see how it
Beautiful.
sticks
Do
so
you guys see?
beautifully?
So what she's doing is, she wet a little bit the challah because it's no egg. Otherwise, you would use egg
or
on the
maple
challah
syrup
or maple
or
syrup
agave.
or agave on the challah.
Yep.
Okay, because it makes a nice dark shiny look. And then she put a cup of water, and then dip your finger in the water. Then dip your finger in the sesame seeds, and then you tap at the challah, and the sesame seeds stick to the challah, and you get beautiful dough.
So if you're vegan or there's egg allergies and you make your dough egg free, you can still, apply whatever you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be seeds, but you can,
Right.
apply
So
whatever
I've
you
done
want.
pumpkin seeds. I've done poppy seeds. I've done
You brought a-
za'atar. What have we done?
Could you cinnamon sugar?
Sunflower seeds.
We have
Black sesame seeds.
There was one more thing I was going to. Oh, this is what I wanted to tell you.
She's so excited.
I am, because I usually forget everything and then I remember way later. So I actually ordered on Amazon skeleton keys. It's a little. You could still do that. There's 1-day delivery now with Prime.
Well, they're hearing this on Friday morning, so
Oh, no, there isn't.
yeah.
Just kidding. You can
Okay,
use your
but doesn't
house
matter
key.
for
No, you
next
can use your
time, for the
house key.
future, for the future.
Use your house key. And what you can do is you can actually dip the. Okay, so what I would do is I wouldn't even egg the challah per se, but I would take the key, dip it in either because I don't want to egg it because I'll tell you why. Take the key, dip it in egg or maple syrup, and then dip it in either poppy seeds, cinnamon, sugar, or whatever, and then it leaves an imprint on the challah in the shape of a key. So it's really cool. Skeleton keys because they're pretty funky shapes,
Right.
So, anyways, that was a cool one. But if you don't egg it, it won't get brown because sometimes if it gets dark, you won't be able to see that imprint. But it's just really cool in general.
Okay, wow.
Okay,
We learned a lot.
we too.
It's funny, every time I'm with Naomi doing a class or I sneak in on her doing a class in LA,
That's amazing.
you learn something from this girl. She flies around the country. She can be hired. She's up for hire, up for rent.
By the way, sidetrack, are you planting watermelon radishes this year?
So, I just bought some, but I'm not sure if I'm going to plant them. They were very small.
You sent me home with watermelon
I
radishes
sent you
last
home
year.
home to Detroit with watermelon radishes. I'm thinking about planting cucumbers, tomatoes, right? Of course, the love of my life. Strawberries. Even though I'll get
Melinda
nothing,
has-
Melinda has
Melinda-
crazy amount of strawberries.
Yeah.
I'm going to do herbs, but I'm going to pot the herbs.
I think I used to do gardens.
Right.
I have to show you pictures. I want to do it again.
So maybe you should help me with my garden
Okay.
in all your free time.
On my free.
I want a dough garden. Maybe a money garden would be good.
I want a money tree.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think my kids think I have one.
Mine too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
funny about that. Okay, guys.
But look how pretty. And you
It's
see,
stunning.
by the way, you notice as it's resting, it's actually relaxing more. That it's actually, you'll see
It will
starting
rise.
to
It will
puff up
rise.
more.
But the time the cake takes this home, it will be rising.
Also, one more thing: don't ever rip your dough, because look, you see how this is a dough cutter. You see how nicely. You see that?
Right.
But if I rip it,
So, okay. So what do we do? What do we use a dough?
this or a serrated knife.
Okay, serrated knife.
Bench scraper.
Bench scraper available. Kitchen caboodles. You can follow them on Instagram, DM them. They'll mail them.
They don't
razor
have a
blade.
website.
They don't have a website, but you can call them and they'll mail it
They're
to you.
amazing.
Ask for the Naomi Elberg bench scraper. They will know what you mean because people call up and
Naomi
ask
grill.
the Naomi Nachman grill.
They're out
So,
of stock.
I know.
I'm
Yeah.
just letting you know. So they asked for it. I was like, come on. She's like, no, they're out of it.
Yeah. I hope they're getting more.
Yeah, they have everything on back order. Susanna, it's not in stock.
Yeah,
Susanna,
thank
no,
God.
it's-
Because thank God they sell out, which is good stuff. All right, guys. I cannot believe an hour. Didn't that just go like that?
Did.
That was super fast. I had Susie Fishbein, Seth Walsh, and Naomi Elberg on the show. Oh my God. Amazing. What a great hour we had. Hope you guys will tune in every week to our great show. We have an amazing show coming up next week, so stay tuned. We have Beth Warren in the house. We will have Jacqueline Elbaz and the team from Stuff, husband and wife team, the double duo Flajiks will be joining us as well next week. So have a great Shabbos. Music is sponsored by our friends at Kedem. Music is sponsored by our friends at Kedem up until Lichtbenching. I said that right, guys. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.